Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a massive modern showdown. The innate, lightning-fast digital prowess of Generation Z versus the foundational groundwork laid by millennials. It's a completely fascinating look at how our environment shapes our potential and what actually happens when human ingenuity collides with unprecedented technological access.
Okay, so picture this. Imagine taking the sharpest, fastest learning teenagers from literally any point in history. Got them in your head? Now, hand them the ultimate toolkit. Unfettered access to unlimited information, incredibly powerful AI, and an instant global audience. It immediately makes you wonder, right? What kind of generation does that environment actually create? I mean, when you mix that rapid cognitive development with tools that can literally alter reality at the click of a button, well, you get a fundamentally different human experience.
And the result of all that is Generation Z. We're talking about a cohort that seamlessly learns complex software entirely online, builds scalable businesses right from a bedroom laptop, and turns a viral trend into a six-figure e-commerce brand. They're growing up in a world that moves at the speed of the internet, and honestly, they're aggressively keeping pace. So let's look at Advantage 1, true tech natives.
You know, millennials grew up alongside the evolution of modern tech. They totally remember the screech of dial-up internet and the early days of social media. Gen Z, on the other hand, was born directly into a fully realized digital ecosystem. They never had to, translate analog concepts into digital ones. They just inherently speak the language. And in our tech-driven world, that native fluency is a massive head start.
Moving on to Advantage 2, the entrepreneurial mindset.
For decades, success basically meant climbing the corporate ladder at a big, established company. But for Gen Z, success is building their own escalator. Instead of waiting around for traditional roles, they're out there monetizing personal brands, freelancing digital skills, and launching e-commerce stores. And the beauty of this whole thing is that it requires almost zero upfront capital. It's completely changing how society views career trajectories.
Next up is Advantage 3, accelerated learning.
Learning has been entirely democratized now. Think about it. A few decades ago, mastering a highly technical skill meant years of expensive formal education. Today, if Gen Z wants to learn software coding or graphic design, there are literally thousands of free, step-by-step tutorials and expert communities available in seconds. They're leveraging this to completely bypass the traditional learning curve. It's wild.
This brings us to Advantage 4, high adaptability. Gen Z grew up during one of the most unpredictable periods in modern history. Just look at this sequence: a sudden pivot to remote learning, global economic uncertainty, and now the rapid rise of AI. Because they grew up in this constant state of flux, change isn't frightening to them. Actually, it's their baseline. And in today's volatile global market, that kind of adaptability is an absolutely incredible asset to have. And finally, Advantage 5, future readiness.
While legacy industries are, kind of panicking over automation and AI displacing jobs, Gen Z is actively jumping right in. They're immediately exploring these tools to supercharge their own workflows. That proactive willingness to be the first to test and integrate new tech gives them a massive edge. They aren't fighting the current at all. They're learning to ride the wave. Okay, let's pivot for a second. With all these massive advantages, it forces us to ask a rather controversial question about the generation that came just before them. Before we just go ahead and declare Gen Z the undisputed champions of the digital age, are they actually better than millennials? Well, here is the vital context we absolutely can't ignore. Nearly all the digital opportunities Gen Z enjoys today exist because millennials built the ecosystem. Millennials coded the foundational platforms, developed the apps, and launched the startups that literally transitioned our society from analog to digital. Without that massive groundwork, the modern internet economy simply wouldn't exist, period. So, framing this as a competition, it's really the wrong approach entirely. It's not about one generation outsmarting another. It's about recognizing that every single generation simply reacts to the unique tools and the specific environment they happen to be handed. We're actually witnessing this incredible generational synergy. Millennials were the architects doing the heavy lifting of building the digital age, right? And then Gen Z was handed those powerful tools from birth, allowing them to master the landscape in ways the original architects might never have even anticipated. It's like a giant relay race, not a solo sprint. I'll leave you with this to ponder. Pair the raw, innovative creation of millennials with the lightning-fast adaptability of Gen Z, and you get two incredible halves of a whole. So what do you guys think?
Has Gen Z truly surpassed millennials, or does that groundwork laid by millennials prove that each generation brings an equally vital power to the table? Think about how these different strengths play out in your own workplace. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep exploring.